It seems timely that in this present era, when the world is seemingly split into two separate realities, along comes a game where that is quite literally the central premise. The Medium, another foray into psychological horror from developer Bloober team, whose previous efforts, Layers of Fear, Observer and Blair Witch, have tapped into chilling the spine via a first-person perspective, casts you as Marianne, a woman blessed/cursed with supernatural powers that enable her to exist within the real and spirit world simultaneously. Horror games have enjoyed dalliances with alternate realities before, of course, not least in the Silent Hill series, in which its protagonists could enter grimy realms of untold terror, and The Medium is the closest we've come to a Silent Hill experience in far too long a time. Set in Poland's Nivo Resort, an abandoned hotel suspended in its 50s, 60s style of wood panelling and dusty marble, The Medium presents all manner of puzzling possibilities that are seldom fully explored. Things start off simple enough, with Marianne able to initiate an out-of-body experience and control her platinum blonde spirit world counterpart for a limited time before she dissolves into dust. This enables you to power junction boxes in the real world using spirit energy absorbed from the bleak, grime-encrusted and sepia-hued spirit world, before graduating to slightly more complex puzzles, which require journeying back and forth between both realms. Most of this is delivered by dividing the screen in two, vertically or horizontally at different junctures, with Marianne moving in synchronicity through both realities. Holding down the B button, meanwhile, allows you to focus on the spirit world and take direct control. The Medium feels like something of a horror throwback, with its fixed camera angles and slightly clunky movement. It's even set in 1999 and wouldn't be entirely out of place within the same time frame as Resident Evil 3 and Silent Hill, both of which released during the very same year. Of course, the Medium's core premise of straddling two worlds is brought to startling life by the internal grunt of the Xbox Series X/S, ensuring that Marianne can traverse to the other side instantaneously, be it via mirrors or directly through the game's split-screen sequences. And while the Niva Hotel is an interesting and evocative time capsule, brimming with eerie The Shining vibes, the underlying spirit world, inspired by the macabre artwork of Zdzisław Beksiński, is all sand-coloured rock, gnarled tendrils, hanging human limbs, stretched slabs of fetid flesh, and muddy, darkened corners. The spirit world isn't supposed to be appealing, of course, and on that front it succeeds in being a place you don't want to spend too much time exploring, lest gangly creature the Maw, voiced with almost unrecognisable menace by Troy Baker, snatch you up in its spindly, grasping digits. Whenever the monster deigns to turn up, you're either forced into a painfully slow stealth section, Marianne having to crouch behind scenery to evade the blind beast searching, holding her breath when it draws near, or you'll be sprinting out of danger, the creature relentlessly giving chase. These sections prove especially irritating when the Maw manifests in the real world as a nigh-on invisible entity, appearing in a similar guise to the Predator with its shimmering camo. Each occurrence is a cause for deep sighing and eye-rolling rather than terror, as an inevitable, non-skippable death sequence is bound to ensue. It's a shame that these encounters are less scary, more of an annoyance. While in the spirit world, Marianne is able to wield spirit energy, burning away encroaching whispers of moths by projecting a shielding bubble, or powering on switches that can be used in the material world. This requires charging up said energy using wells of swirling white light, which can make temporary visits to the spirit world somewhat urgent, as her spiritual projection slowly flakes away to ash. Your guide through the Medium's orangey beige plane is a little girl named Sadness, whose porcelain masked identity is a mystery throughout, even when Marianne eventually goes beyond the confines of the Niva's walls. It's these latter parts of the game that provide the real intrigue, as Marianne closes in on the truth behind what became of the denizens of the hotel, and a smart, unexpected twist gradually wriggles its way out of the Medium's plot. The interplay between Marianne's two worlds proves a constantly compelling mechanic, the back and forth from place to place keeping things fresh. Sadly, however, the more intriguing environmental puzzles that arise from the game's dual reality traversal are all too scarce. It's a shame because many of the more arresting sights are saved for such conundrums, like a room with an imposing angular sculpture of an angel at its centre, in which moving the hands of a grandfather clock shifts time in the environment itself, unlocking an otherwise inaccessible doorway. Still, as a slice of cinematic Silent Hill or Resident Evil style horror, albeit without the survival aspect, there's no combat here, the Medium proves engaging from start to finish. Bloober deploys cinematic camera angles to great effect, making the Niva Hotel, its surroundings and the spirit world feel at times both oppressive and claustrophobic. Arkady Szykowski and Silent Hill composer Akira Yamaoka's superlative soundtrack ensures you're kept on a knife edge, and a succession of dreamlike sequences and images will live on in your head after you finish the game. Yet, it's a bit of a leap to claim that the Medium successfully creates any genuine scares during its 10 to 12 hours. While the mood is one of suitable foreboding, you rarely experience the hairs bristling on the back of your neck with genuine terror, despite Bloober's unquestionable proficiency in conjuring chills. What the medium does do well is to engender a pervading, unnerving aura without frequently resorting to cheap jump frights, although there are some. The medium is Bloober's best horror game since Layers of Fear, if not exactly its scariest, and proof positive that the Polish studio not only has a mastery of the medium, but is adept at building a thick, unsettling atmosphere and delivering an engaging narrative. It may not haunt your nightmares, but it will live on in your memory. The medium is a striking and captivating psychological horror that demonstrably sees a developer honing its craft. Now someone, Konami, give Bloober a massive budget and the Silent Hill license, for crying out loud!